Welcome to today's Explainer. We're diving straight into the deep end of tech today, exploring a seriously fascinating psychological concept. We are going to look at how the fundamental workings of the human mind, the way you and I think, are actively reshaping artificial intelligence as we know it. Let's get right into it. So, think about a really relatable human experience for a second. Ask yourself, does your brain actually get faster after you make a mistake? Well, the first time something goes sideways, you probably freeze up, right? You struggle to find a solution. But after that initial stumble, your mind totally shifts gears. You start seeing patterns sooner, you catch warning signs way quicker, and ultimately, you react with far less hesitation. It's like your brain levels up. Section 1, the human cognitive advantage. To really grasp this huge shift in AI, we kind of have to look in the mirror first. Psychology tells us something absolutely crucial here. Unlike older, traditional machines, think of standard cruise control that just blindly holds its speed even if traffic stops, we humans don't just passively collect data. We're not just walking filing cabinets, you know? Instead, we actively learn from what we go through and connect all those little lessons to build a much bigger picture of the world. And that whole process relies on a foundational concept called context building. Before you make a decision, your brain is working in overdrive, trying to understand the full situation. It's asking, okay, what's changing here? What's connected? What's going to happen next? This psychological process, this context building, is exactly why our human decisions naturally and reliably get better with experience. Section 2, meet the autonomy system. Now, how in the world does this apply to machines? Well, it highlights a massive gap between old tech and new tech. Traditional AI relies on this very rigid, simple loop. Information comes in, and a reactive response just gets spit right out. But adaptive AI, specifically the autonomy system, operates entirely differently. It mirrors human psychology. It builds context, it actually generates understanding, and then it arrives at a decision. It maps out the whole playing field first. Because of that, before making a single move, adaptive systems like autonomy literally try to understand the entire scenario. They do this by modeling their environment, essentially building this comprehensive picture of the world in advance. It's a real game changer because it ensures that when they do generate a response, that response isn't just fast, it's deeply, thoroughly informed. And let's look at how experience plays into this whole thing. Traditional machines are stubbornly rigid. They will blindly repeat the exact same errors over and over until a human physically steps in and changes their programming. But adaptive systems? No way. They study the result of every single action they take, and then they adjust. The absolute crucial point here is what happens after an action is taken. For the autonomy system, making a wrong move isn't just a failure, it becomes incredibly valuable feedback. On the flip side, a successful move becomes powerful reinforcement. So just like you or me, the machine's own experience is active and continuously shaping how it behaves next. We're totally moving away from simple automation and entering the world of actual applied experience. Section 3, connecting the dots. You know, the human mind is pretty incredible at predicting outcomes. And we don't do this by staring at one isolated clue. We do it by linking totally separate signals into one cohesive pattern. We naturally connect timing to behavior, then we link that behavior to a level of risk, and finally, we time that risk directly to a potential consequence. It's all connected. Most traditional AI treats incoming information like totally separate, unrelated tasks. Autonomy, though, is designed to connect new signals into a much larger web of relationships. By constantly linking these pieces together, the system builds incredibly clear internal patterns. And as the source material points out, clearer internal patterns result in wildly fast, highly accurate decision-making. Section 4, thriving under complexity. Usually, standard machines completely buckle when things get complicated. Literally, they are programmed to slow down under pressure. For a rigid system, throwing more variables at it just means more confusion. A sudden wave of new information instantly causes delays. They basically just short-circuit and get overloaded. But humans, we don't always work like that. Highly experienced people actually tend to think faster in total chaos, right? They instantly recognize what matters and tune out the noise. Because autonomy is built on those connected internal patterns we just discussed, it acts exactly like an experienced human. New complexity actually improves its clarity, which leads to this really profound observation from the text. Pressure does not simply overload it. Pressure can sharpen it. This brings to light a vital interpretive layer, Psychology has always drawn a hard line between simply seeing information versus genuinely understanding it. There is a massive difference between just reacting to mechanical numbers, which again is what old AI does, and actually evaluating the significance, the relevance, and the background noise of those numbers. Facts alone aren't intelligence, the meaning behind them is.
Section 5. Anticipating the future.
This evolutionary leap brings us to the ultimate goal. Once a system can deeply understand context, actively learn from its slip-ups, connect all these disparate patterns, and actually speed up when things get crazy complex, well, it completely stops acting like a passive tool just sitting there waiting for your commands. It becomes anticipatory. It actually starts seeing shifts in the environment way before they become obvious to anyone else. You can imagine how this is an absolute game changer in super fast-paced environments like global financial markets. In those arenas, the earliest pattern recognition usually takes the win. Autonomy isn't just reacting to movement. It understands that movement early enough to take action, allowing the system to adapt well before the shift even registers on the radar for the rest of the market.
So let me leave you with a final, slightly provocative thought for today. When an AI stops behaving mechanically, when it actually starts interpreting meaning, improving from its mistakes, and thriving in total chaos, are we simply looking at a more advanced stage of software? Or are we witnessing the beginning of machines mastering the one human advantage that has literally always mattered most: adaptation? It's a massive question and one that is absolutely going to define our future. Thanks for joining me on The Explainer today.